Okay, so MU is sort of chopping up here at the highs. It is, as of now, no longer a 12-hour rider. I think it's probably a daily rider, I would say. And yeah, so it's still holding this level here. And you can kind of hope that it's going to continue to hold, but it's definitely in a weird sort of choppy balance up here. And at this point, I would actually prefer if it came back in and tested weekly EMA12 personally, and then get some balance on it. Like come back, test it, balance, and then go. Let this thing just keep doing that. That would be kind of nice. And I think that the memory stocks have the capacity to do that, given memory shortage and the narrative behind it. So just kind of maybe a little over its skis at the top here. We'll see. But either way, I was looking at this morning thinking I was interested in a pull-in after we had this down day and then a rally yesterday. Yesterday being Monday. And I thought we need some kind of higher low. So if we go down to the 12-hour, take a look, you can see there was that down, there was the move up. Go to the 4-hour. And yeah, I saw this 4-hour stair step and I thought, oh, it'd be cool to catch a 4-hour higher low, right? That was like the only way that I could see this thing really staying strong was thanks to this move up, which, by the way, I'm aware did set a potential 4-hour head and shoulders. But given the strength of the name, given the fact that we're at all-time highs, I tend to not pay so much attention to head and shoulders patterns up at tops like that, because in a bullish market they can just keep going. I prefer head and shoulders patterns when you're in a situation where you should be topping, right? So if we were looking for a weekly lower high and we got an inverse head and shoulders like that, then I'd be a little more prone to thinking, oh, this thing could go down. But because we're at all-time highs, I didn't really give that a thought. I did give it a thought, but I didn't decide that I was going to go short, and because I don't want to be short this name, I want to be long this name, and I didn't think that it was a thing that was going to stop me from getting long on it. I thought we still could absolutely set a higher low on the 4-hour as long as we don't get too deep a retracement, okay? So I drew this retracement, this fib, and I thought, somewhere between 382 and half, like somewhere in here is kind of the spot where I want to get long. So I'm going to jump right down to the 2-minute time frame, and I'll show you what happened. Okay, so here's that ugly pink line I drew, right? And get rid of this guy. So this is where I'm thinking I want to get long, somewhere in there. And so down here, when we pull in off the open, you can see we're already at the 382, right? When we start coming in here. So I'm like, okay, cool. This is a fair enough place for me to want to try. If it bounces from here, that's great. So I'm on the 2-minute time frame, and I might have even been on the 1 minute off the open. But I see we are going lower, lower. I'm just sort of waiting. I'm aware that there's a put wall here from at around 4:30, and so it would be nice if it got to that, which would also coincide with the 382 level, pretty close to it anyway. But we come down, we're sort of bouncing, slowing down on the move down, and so on this bar here where we start to move up, I get long, and you can see it must have been on the 1 minute because I did it right inside this bar, so it was a 1 minute stair step breaking that I got long. With my stop going right underneath there, and got to move up. You can see I was selling some, but you can see where the sells are. Let me just pause this for a second. Yeah, so some of them were up here around 436, right there, and some of them were lower, and clearly I did not get risk-free on this thing, and so I didn't sell up here. There must have been, I can't remember why I didn't get risk-free there. But either way, I think you can see here on this one here, I basically stopped out when we broke the low of this bar. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. When we broke the low of this bar here, that's where I stopped out. So I was aware that this is now a potential 2-minute lower high. So if we break the low of this bar, that confirms that lower high, and we're probably going lower. So that's why my stop goes there. I'm pretty sure I took a small loss there, but it wasn't too bad. It was the next one that was worse. So you can see here, I tried to get long again right here, but it was with small size. I don't know why. I think I made a mistake. I think this was my app glitching where I had refreshed it because it was being glitchy or something, and then it put the wrong number of shares in the share purchase thing, and so I was in with tiny size there, and then when it went lower, I sized up to get it right, and then it moved up, broke this high, and had an immediate rejection down, so I sold it, and that was, I think, a break-even trade as well. So I'm just like, okay, well, now I need this thing to actually show a proper bottom because this rejection of this candle right here is not what I wanted to see. So, okay, we're going lower. And I'm also aware at this point that, now we've got a lower high, we've got a low, a lower high, and now we're coming in for a lower low. So like we need that lower low to be set. And then, 2-minute EMA 12 is going to be resistance. We really need to get it above that in order for this to start working, even if what you're looking for is a high and then a higher low and then a move up. Like, you need to make enough space here for that higher low. And so as I'm getting long here, which I was late, right? Like on the 2-minute time frame here, I did not buy on this bar, which I should have. I bought on this bar, which I was late. And then it didn't get above 2-minute EMA 12 and started to come back in. So I sold it again. And again, that was a break-even trade. That's what this sell was here. And so then it comes back down, and you can see I bought it again. And at this point, I'm buying it like this is the last chance, really, for this to work, is buy it somewhere here with your stop here, and it must work. And this is one of those trades where the reason that I'm buying it there, even though it hasn't shown me any strength yet, is just because the risk is so tight now. It moved down sharply. I buy there with my stop here. If it doesn't pick up right away, I can get out. It sort of wobbled here for a minute and put in an inside bar, and I thought, oh, this actually could work. But when it didn't hold above the inside bar and it broke down below, you can see I sold the last piece. And that was my big loss. I think like a little bit there. I think this one was not so bad. And then this one, I was like, this is it. And I got such a small amount of risk that I went kind of big, and boom, it stopped me out. And so that was a pretty decent loss on the day. Not the end of the world, not like a full day loser or anything, but just not good. And at that point now I'm aware, the reason I was so excited in here is because I really didn't want it to go any deeper than this level, because that reduces the likelihood that the bounce is going to work on the 4-hour time frame, right? I want to keep it definitely above the 50%. And so when this balance fails and we drop lower, I'm not trying down here. Now I'm like, okay, well, we're definitely a 2-minute EMA 12 rider down. I need it to show me some strength, and in the form of like, show me a candle that closes above the 2-minute EMA 12, which hasn't happened at all yet. So that happens here. And I can't remember why there's so many buys here. I think I was trying to size into it, like just scale into it, which is not a thing I do, so that's stupid. But I was dubious. And also, I'm aware that at this point, I've got a loss on the day that was kind of big size up there. Any bounce that I get here, there's a lower likelihood it's going to work, because I know somewhere up above the 15-minute EMA 12 is looming, like that. And if we don't get above the 15-minute EMA 12 on this bounce, which I know we're probably setting 15-minute stair step, right? So like go to the 15-minute, come down in here. Yeah, look, so 15-minute bar down, 15-minute bar down, 15-minute bar down, 15-minute bar down. And I know there's a 15-minute stair step that's going to break. I know that when it comes up, it's going to have to contend with this 15-minute EMA 12 as resistance. And so back down to the 2. This is the 15-minute bar breaking. And I'm trying to buy right before it breaks down here. And I know at best, like if I'm lucky, it'll get above that 15-minute EMA 12. But I'm thinking about how you can see where I drew this line, and I know the 15-minute is up there, and we've got this balance here that we just failed from, and so that's going to be coinciding with the 15-minute EMA 12. So there's going to be rejection there. So anyway, I position my way into this thing, but it's smaller size, because I know that the most likely scenario now is not for the 4-hour trend to continue to the upside. The most likely scenario now is that I'm probably going to get a rejection, and this is just a little bounce, and I'm just trying to win back a little bit of what I lost on the day. Bounce works. I get risk-free here. I'm watching the 2-minute stair step. When the 2-minute stair step breaks into the 15-minute EMA 12, that's where I'm out. Let me just remove all my drawings and show you where I see the 15-minute EMA 12. There it is. So yeah, I'm aware. We're moving up into this balance area. We're moving up on a 2-minute stair step here into the 15-minute EMA 12, which I know is going to be resistance. So there's like, at this point, I'm like, just take some off. So I took some off there. I took off half of what I had left. So half here to get risk-free, half here to take a little more profit. Rolls over, and at this point, I'm aware that this is probably a 5-minute. This is my best shot at this thing working as a 5-minute high or low. So I really need it to get a higher high and break this, because then it's showing me strength and continuation of the upside, but it doesn't do that. So here on this candle, when we lose this level here, I sell another half, and I just put the remaining stop down here. This is my like, maybe, please work. And it doesn't, it stops me out. Okay, so that's what I did in the trade. Now, what should I have done differently? What could I have done better? Like, this is not the best setup for me. The best setups for me are when you're showing strength and I get that higher low. This is me bottom fishing, right? This is left side of the V stuff. Like here, I thought this bounce could work. So that's, I think, actually kind of legit. Like you're breaking a little stair step and you're giving yourself a chance to get risk-free. And like this was a smaller candle. Like look at the size of this candle, big. This one's smaller. This one's the smallest, and then you break it to the upside. You know, you're kind of in a good spot there because your risk from here to here is low. And there's a good likelihood you can get risk free on the bounce and then just let it play out. And that didn't work. And so it goes a little lower. And at that point, I'm like, the 2-minute trend is down. I think buying here was a big mistake. Like this was me basically like sometimes it breaks the low and then that's a fake out and it wicks people out. And I think that's what I was thinking when I was buying here, but that's just not good trading in my opinion. I think you're better off, like sure, let it wick people out. But it's not like this is a day where I thought this thing is going to go like crazy. I'm just looking for a 4-hour higher low. Why would they be doing that shenanigans there? You know, that sort of stuff happens when you're at a climax bottom and they just go for one more little taste of like ruining people's day and they wick it out and then they shoot to the upside. This isn't speed trading we're in here. This is slow moving. That's not the right thing to do there. So that was a thing I shouldn't have done. Here, buying here for this move up, like, again, at that point, you're in a pretty solid downtrend, and I think I did an okay job managing my way out of it. I think I gave it too much of a chance here. Like, I shouldn't have been buying this. I should have been waiting for some confirmation. Like, if I think that it's going to set a higher low here after showing all this weakness, I should have been waiting for this inside bar to break bull and then put a stop in here or here. You know what I mean? So, like, this second entry here and this other try here, not good. I should have been waiting for right side of the V stuff. So specifically this, which never triggered. And so if I'd been waiting for that, you know, waiting for on this candle, for this candle to shoot up here, if I'd been waiting for that and it never triggered, I never would have been in this trade. I never would have lost that money. And then down here, by the time it gets here, I knew that this was not going to be a trade that was going to work on the larger time frame just because of the size of the retracement. The most likely scenario is a lower high. You know, at that point, I'm not bearish this stock in general, so I'm not going to be trying to short it here. I'm just like, I should have just been hands off, walk away. But I'm actually quite good at catching this kind of a bottom here, where we're a moving average rider. We've been holding below. We got a nice strong move down, and then we're finally breaking the moving average for the first time. This is decent trading, but again, look at how I executed. It was really bad. Like, first of all, when it was coming down here and we had this bottom set right there, this wick right here is the kind of wick I was thinking about up here. This like break lower, stop those people out, and then rally up. As soon as I saw that, I should have just got long there, which I didn't because I was being nervous because of all that had just happened before. But as soon as it pushed up here, I should have gotten long there and put in my stop below that low right here. That to me is a trade that I think is pretty awesome. I did it too early here. You know, this was basically like balance, balance, balance. Screw you guys, we're going lower without even trying higher. And then nope, immediate, like stuff that idea, go rally it back up. And that's actually a really good buy. The next one after that, that's really good is this inside bar bull break. So like this didn't give you a higher low. It's basically a stair step up, stair step up, stair step up. This is the first higher low on the 2-minute time frame. So when you don't get the higher low, but you do get a little balance here, that is a good spot right there. And you can pretty much keep your stop super tight because if that doesn't work, you're out. Because otherwise you got to put it way down here and your risk ain't so good. But that's what I did on these buys that I did here. My risk was to there. And that, you know, selling this on the 2-minute stair step up when I know the 50-minute lower high is most likely, I think that's totally fine. I probably should have taken the whole thing off right there. And then I think I would have wiped out most of what I lost if I had done that. But it was me, you know, smoking the hopium that this thing could actually get some legs under it and get going. So this is a really long review and a lot of detail, but I feel like this wasn't my A+ setup to begin with. I did a lot of stupid stuff in here that lost me money I didn't need to lose. And yeah, I think I should, you know, I guess the big lesson for me here is try this first one. If it doesn't work, then you know you're going lower. Like, be a little more patient and just wait. Like, if this was going to end up working out, there probably was going to be some kind of higher low for me to play. You know, first attempt, bounce, didn't work. Second, why? Why would I even try that? I just don't think it's smart. I think let it go lower, see how it behaves against the moving average that it just rejected from. If it gets above it, then get interested. And then think about where you're going to get in. But don't start buying it down here at a fresh low. So that, I think, is the big takeaway for me on this one. And I will stop there.